Alrighty. I hope everybody can see it without black boxes on the side covering up the presentation. Can somebody give me a thumbs up? Okay, awesome. Great. Thank you so much for joining this evening at our Appointed Leadership Open House. And we'll start out with our mission statement. The Junior League of Boston is an organization of women committed to promoting volunteerism, developing the potential of women, and improving communities through the effective action and leadership of trained volunteers. Its purpose is exclusively educational and charitable. And I don't know how many times we're going to say that before we get a new one, but there we go. So I'd like to thank everybody for being here. Unfortunately, Celeste won't be able to join us, but we've got Emily and Caitlin, Erin and Christina, or do we have Christina? I didn't see her. Oh, sorry. I lost sorry, I lost you on my screen. Anyway, so thank you all for joining. What we're going to do tonight is just go a little bit over the available roles and a little bit about the process of how to apply, and then answer any questions that people have. And we are just finalizing our appointed leadership catalog. And so we'll be able to send that out very soon this week, but it'll be done before the process opens. So the appointed leadership process is something that we do as part of the Placement Council. And there's all sorts of leadership roles that we help to coordinate. And basically any of the leadership that isn't a slated is an appointed position, and those are the ones that we handle. The entire process will be a little bit different this year. And so members in the past had applied for their number 1, 2, and 3 slots. And this year instead, the application, when you go in there, you'll see that you'll be able to select the open positions that you are most interested in. And then as a second tier, anything that you'd be willing to do. In case your first choices were actually taken and filled, that would offer you an opportunity to still let people know that you're interested in a leadership position and you'll do any of these things. We figured if there's any that you didn't want, just don't mark them somewhere and people won't pester you about them. The timeline that we have right now is we've had board of directors approve our appointed and placement catalogs, and we're updating the documents. We updated our application, and now in beginning April 1st, we will open up the application on Friday at midnight in the morning. So everybody will have the entire day, and that will go through midnight the evening of, I believe it is April 17th. It's that Sunday night. I think it's the 17th or 18th. And after that point, we will hand over the applications to EMT Elect, and they will then conduct interviews and make selections. And in late May, early June, we hope that everyone will be notified before we then open up the regular placement at all. So people who are selected for an appointed leadership role do not go through the regular placement process. We'll proactively put people in those positions. So last year we had a little bit of difficulty filling everything, and part of what we worked on, and really it was Sarah's, all of her efforts, she worked really hard with EMT Elect to both think really strategically about the number of leadership positions that we needed to have. And so going into next year, we could run our intended programs with a minimum of 55 appointed leaders and a maximum of 75. Last year, we had asked for 65, and it was a push to get that many people in there. Each chair has committee members that report to them, and they will lead people on their projects and activities. And then they're also on those committees, sometimes there's a lead, and they'll head under the chair's direction, they'll head a project or a task. But training and support is provided, and going into next year, we hope we'll get back on schedule, and over the summer have a, if we get people placed, we will over the summer then hold a training for the chairs, so that people are supported and know, what kind of are the best practices, how to reach out to your committees, how to fill out a check request, or how the budget is handled, to kind of learn all of those sorts of things. So the board of directors roles, and I'll just go through them. If you have specific questions, I would reach out to Celeste though. Going into the new year, there will be a strategic research and analysis chair. The committee members on this committee are appointed, which is unlike the other placements that we have. So you could apply to either be a chair or a committee member in that case. Advocacy, there is a small chance that this may change slightly. Much like Garden Club, there's been some discussion about whether or not this advocacy pack lead will be its own, operate under its own bylaws. But if that happens and placement isn't placing that role, we'll hand that off to the people, the interested parties, over to the people who would be filling that position. There's also a public affairs chair and a donor relations committee chair. EMT, much like the board of directors, also appoints the DEI and DEI chair and the comms and tech chair. Those are the ones that are kind of different, but everything else is then handled by each group. So for community, Emily, would you like to go?
I'm so sorry, Amanda, I didn't, I misunderstood and thought you would be presenting the community slides, but I am happy to talk through it.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No apologies necessary, my error. Folks, thank you. First, thank you for being interested in appointed leadership. And I hope that even if you weren't drawn here for community, you might consider a placement within community. Our community program, I think what's remarkable about it is that in so many ways, it is what the League is known for. And it is the work of all of the amazing, internal placements that are done across the board of directors and fund development and training that help make our community placements and programs possible. And so community has a number of open positions. We've had a group of long-standing chairs, and many of them are moving on to new roles, both moving up within the League and moving on to sustainer roles. So that's why you see a large number of these. A couple of our programs that are most aligned are the JLB Arts and the Kids in the Kitchen. These both take place at the same school, typically the Boston Renaissance Charter School. And many of the girls who are participating in these programs are co-enrolled, so they might participate in both of them. Not always, but there's a large degree of overlap. JLB Arts is really designed to introduce young girls, I think it's 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, to arts, crafts, opportunities for us to build in sort of math and measurement where we can, as well as just have a little more of a creative outlet. The Kids in the Kitchen is similar. It's just what it sounds like. It's a cooking activity, and it's really designed to teach the same age range, young girls, 3rd through 5th grade, about healthy eating, how to prepare meals, and actually we purchase ingredients for the classes. Sessions are held on site at the Boston Renaissance Charter School, and then the member volunteers lead the girls through a cooking activity. And again, we have nice opportunities to build in budgeting, to focus on financial solvency, and math with our cooking and measurement and different activities. And even better, you get to eat it at the end of it. So it's a really neat program. Both of these, because they've had the benefit of chairs who have been long standing in place, really would be excellent for someone who is new to leadership and interested in seeing something that has a documented track record, that could be plug and play with a few opportunities to leave your own mark or start to iterate on something to make it even more successful. Our community impact is, some of you may have come from other leagues or may have been around the league a little while. That's what we call, what I used to call done in a day. The community impact chairs are really responsible for reaching out to various partners across the greater Boston area who need kind of one-off activities. So it might be an individual volunteering session for the Boston Marathon, where they need staff to staff a particular checkout to hand out orange slices to runners. So it's just one-day events. And there's a lot of administrative coordination that goes along with those activities. So this role is really excellent for folks who maybe have some great existing partnerships that we can leverage across the greater Boston community, and who are interested in creating many short-term opportunities as opposed to recurring long-term opportunities. It's a wonderful way, I think, to get to know the greater Boston community and the different activities that were available, that could be available to us. The Jeremiah program is changing, and it's changing in a fabulous way, because we're really moving from what has been historically an opportunity for junior league members to provide free childcare to women participating in the Jeremiah program, and moving into a bit more of a relationship, a bit more of a relationship that helps us create long-term relationships and leverage the career and relationship capital that members have for the Jeremiah program moms. If you're not familiar with Jeremiah program, it is designed to help women who are single moms ultimately enroll in college, so college-age mothers. This is going to be best positioned for women, for members who maybe have a key interest in promoting racial equity among our Boston community partners, and have some real skills in terms of creating networking events, creating sort of contacts across the league, and are comfortable with building the plane while you're flying it, in so many words. STEM, I should have mentioned earlier, STEM is very similar to Kids in the Kitchen. It is an activity that is taking place in Dorchester right now, focuses on direct service, focused on science, technology, and math, engineering and math, and has a long-standing chair, has lots of plans that can be plug and play, or you have the opportunity to iterate on it a little bit. And finally, grants. Grants is a very well-oiled machine. It is an excellent opportunity for a new leader who's interested in stepping into leadership, and doing it with a well-documented, not difficult to deviate from activities whatsoever. This is going to be best for someone who is seeking an internal placement and does not have any contact with direct service or any program contacts. So you're really going to be doing primarily administrative tasks and managing your committee to conduct them as well. It was a lot of information in a very short period of time. Amanda, is there an opportunity for questions at the end, or should I seek to take questions now?
We can do it either way. I had sort of thought maybe we'd ask questions as we go, just so people don't lose track of them, but either way is good with me.
Yeah, I'll pause here. What questions do you folks have for me?
sorry, I'm not on camera at the moment, but I would love if you could give a little bit more information, I guess, about the time commitment associated being with a chair of one of these, in addition to sort of our standard number of hours that we all plan to volunteer, sort of additional commitments in regards to planning and things like that that are anticipated.
Yeah, that's a great question, Hannah. I will say that there is some variation between the different programs, and I believe this information, am I correct, Amanda, that the detailed breakdown is will be included in the placement grid?
Yeah, I believe it is included in it's definitely in the grid, and I believe it is also in the catalog that we're going to send out. Sarah, can you verify that real quick?
So Hannah, I won't take take the time now to attempt to tell you all of that from memory. I would hate to inadvertently mislead you. What I can say as I look at this list is that the one that may require a little more time commitment than the other is going to be the Jeremiah program, simply because, as I mentioned, it's sort of tenuous, and the precise nature of it is going to be evolving over, I think, the next fiscal year. The ones that will require the least time commitment in terms of developing new tasks are probably those that are already standard plug and play, sort of ready to rock and roll, like arts, kids in the kitchen, STEM, our grants committee chair. I will also say that the grants committee, speaking from my own experience as the chairperson of the grants committee yesteryear, that is very heavily weighted. The majority of your activity is going to be in the early part of the spring. So the fall is pretty quiet. If for some reason you're interested, but you have stuff going on next fall, but then the spring is lighter for you, the grants committee might be a good fit. Did that sort of help? That may not have been completely satisfying.
That was great, and I will keep an eye out for that additional information. I appreciate it.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
What other questions do you folks have? All right, hearing none, Amanda, I will pass the talking stick back over to you. And folks, if something comes to you, please put it in the chat. I'm happy to respond there as well.
And I just want to confirm that we will definitely send out that catalog with information about the specific requirements for each placement, as well as reported hours that you should expect, and locations. So
yeah, awesome, thank you. Well, I guess we're going to move on to membership with Caitlin, and so let me get that moving on.
Hi everybody, my name is Caitlin Berger, and I have been in the Junior League of Boston since 2011. I actually started in Boston, transferred to New York City, and then transferred back. Our transfer program is one of our great membership highlights, so I'll get to that soon. But thank you all for joining, and those of you that are watching at home after this has been recorded, just want you all to know, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at any time. I'm memelect@jlboston.org, and I'm happy to hop on the phone, talk through more of these details, always available. So I'll go through, we've got another transfer. I love that. I think we have a few transfers on here. Transfers are the best, and transfers make the best leaders. No offense to anybody that's not a transfer. You can be a transfer in spirit. And I will say before I jump in that I get the most out of my league experience through my leadership. I 100% believe that what you put in is what you get from the league. And I feel like in a leadership role, there's so many opportunities to learn, to feed off of people, to get to know more people. It's just a really great way to make the best out of your league experience. And there are so many options, as you're learning tonight. There's so many places for leadership that there's always a way for it to fit with your life and what you're looking to achieve through the year. So I'm just going to jump right in. The first one is one of the most important: membership recruitment and outreach chair. This has a heavy lift in the spring. I mean, this is getting our prospective member class, which we have the class, you get admitted July 1, and we've extended the deadline historically to even be in the fall. So it's a little bit of a summer lift too, which is kind of rare for the league. So it's just something to think about, but huge impact on how our league looks by reaching the communities we want to reach for our member base, finding the best women in Boston and making sure that our name is out there. I would love to see people apply for this and be really excited. And there's opportunities also to sit on this committee. If you're thinking like, oh, I want to dabble in that, but I'm not sure I want to be the chair, or maybe I want to co-chair, there's always opportunities for that as well. The active program chair is someone that is going to lead a committee of advisors, which is the next role in mentoring and making sure that our active members have somewhere to go, somebody to talk to, hosting events, holidays at our houses this year, which will hopefully be returning to holidays at our house, was under the active program chair this year. So it's somebody that is interested in making sure that our league members have a fabulous experience, not just in their prospective year, not just in their sustainership, but in that 3 to 5 area where people just kind of sort of lose their way, and often re-engaging in leadership is really the way to continue your league career and get the most out of it. So that's, if you have a keen eye for leadership, that's something that I would definitely consider. Our member social events chair, that is our social events, the fabulous Catherine has been hosting these events and her committee. There's opportunities to be on that committee as well. So if that's something you're interested in, reach out and we can talk about, opportunities there. If you're also interested in social events, I have a feeling Erin is going to have a lot of really great things fund development wise. So if you're interested in planning events, I would definitely steer you over into that as well. New member advisor. These are for our prospective members. They go into their new member class, and you've all had one, right? And you're your new member advisor. They are so key to the success of our new member class. Having that touch point, mentoring people into their active years. It's just a huge role. And I feel like people just love serving as new members. You've got a bubbly personality, you like to hang out with people, you like to plan events, meet new people, kind of mentor people through. A lot of times it's new people in Boston that don't know where anything is or what to do or have friends yet. I mean, it's a great way to meet new people and kind of connect people. Beth Piercy is one of our transfer chair, and she talks about her new member year. She didn't have any friends. She just moved to Boston. She didn't have anywhere to live, and she crashed with her friends from her new member group. And she really attributes her success in Boston to her new member group. So I think that's just an awesome story and something that you guys could be a part of. The transfer program chair, as I just mentioned, I'm a transfer. I know we've got some transfers on here tonight. This person is in charge of our robust transfer program, and under them serves transfer program advisors. Traditionally, a transfer program advisor is paired with 5 to 7 mentees, and they check in, maybe grab drinks all together, have a rapport throughout the year. And the transfer program chair is sort of just in charge of making sure that the program runs smoothly throughout the year. There's usually an event once a month. I served at the transfer program chair many years ago. It's been a great group of women, and people just constantly are going to the transfer events, even if they're not transfers, or if they've transferred 10 years ago, they're still going to the events. There's traditionally 2 retreats, which hopefully post-COVID we'll be able to do. And it's a great group. The Sustainer Program Committee Chair is someone who is in a sustainer, currently a sustainer, and runs the entire membership output, excuse me, of the Sustainer program. Under them, they have Sustainer advisors. Oh, sorry. Those, someone may have to speak for me, sorry. All right, we'll try this. Sorry, guys. Oh, I don't think I can do it. We may have to skip back and come back to me.
You sure? Do you want us to go ahead? Okay. We could do that. Let's skip ahead and we'll come back if people have questions and or want to hear more about the sustainers. For fund development, we have Erin.
Hi, everyone. My name's Erin Maloney, and I will be the Fund Development Vice President next year. So I'm going to go over quickly. I want to thank Caitlin for the plug on these. So I'm going to quickly go over all of these roles and the ways that they changed, because some of you might see that there's a new committee on there. So you can email me with any questions, just like Caitlin had said. I'm dev-elect at jlboston.org. So any questions, if I didn't cover anything, please reach out. So first we have the Charity Gala Chair. There are 2 roles that are open for this. And it's great for anybody that's doing event planning, has a background with event planning or wants to get into event planning. It's just what it says. You're going to plan the gala from soup to nuts. So you'd be coming up with a theme, reaching out, chairing the committee. There's about 15 to 20 people on the committee. So you'd be responsible for working with your committee to get all the auction items and the venue set up and the, food and beverage, the decorations and, all the good stuff, pushing for tickets, entertainment, everything that goes along with that. So usually this event takes place in usually April or May. So I would say it's pretty much evenly focused throughout the year. So, the beginning of the year, you'd probably spend most of the time, in September and October getting the venue in place and auction items. And working through that. So, lots of check requests and budget work. So, there's an opportunity, definitely, as everybody has said, definitely an opportunity to learn lots about the league and really give back and make it a successful gala, and then set it up for next year. So, making sure that everything's all organized. Here's everyone that we called, just so people have an idea of who was reached out to, who maybe they should focus on. So lots to do on the gala, and there's 2 open seats for that. Flagship events is new this year. So this year we called it signature events. And what we did was we had another committee and we kind of combined them and created a larger committee that is going to be in charge of all of our flagship events. So this would include, some of those smaller cooking classes that they just did the other night. Would also include, we're going to work with membership and combine and do a holiday type of event that'll be probably in conjunction with holidays at our house. So we'll do that with membership. So that will be part of that flagship events. And hopefully we will work that holiday event into a larger, more sustainable event over the years. So there'll be a lot of planning involved with that holiday event because we want to basically tee something up that we would be able to grow over the years and just keep adding on to make it a real successful event. Have a holiday market and really kind of grow it and, have a party, etc. So there's 3 open seats for that because there's a lot more detail that'll be in that catalog with regards to this event. We also, this role would also do the picnics and the ponies one in the summer. So, and then probably some smaller events, and probably work closely with social membership to support them in making sure that we're maximizing all the dollars that are coming into the league, because after all, it is fund development. So 3 positions there, lots of event planning, reaching out for auction items, etc. So you know, if somebody has experience with events, they would be great for this role, but also if somebody's looking to learn, because we are a training organization, so we would definitely support you in training you up to learn that. And then the products development lead, that role is basically going to be focused with our new store that we have, that you know, creating and developing new products that we can get up on there, looking at, you know, smaller companies. So, you know, for instance, right now, one of the things they're looking at is trying to find a local candle developer that'll maybe make us some junior league candles and stuff. So that's what the products development lead will be working on, is updating and making sure that our, you know, products that we have for sale are, you know, in line with what people would want. So switching things out, adding new things that, you know, more ladies of the junior league would like to buy. But yeah, if you have any questions about any of these, please reach out to me. I am happy and always available to answer any questions about these, but all should be very fun and give everybody a great way to contribute back to the league. And if anyone wants to ask me questions now, I'm happy to try and take a stab at them now. You're welcome, Sarah. All right. Well, reach out over email if you have any questions.
All right. Thank you so much, Erin. I really appreciate it. Caitlin has survived. I am glad to report. And so I'm going to go back a few slides just for a second in case anybody had any questions about the membership items, and offer Caitlin an opportunity to say anything else she wanted to about the sustainer roles.
Thank you, Amanda.
Sure.
Excuse my cough drop, everybody. Sorry about that. So Sustainer Program Committee Chair runs all of the Sustainer events, liaison to all of our amazing sustainers, of which we have hundreds of, and they really are one of the best parts about our league. And then the Sustainer Program Advisors sit under that committee, and similarly to our transfer program advisors and our active program advisors, they are the soldiers out there mentoring, planning these events. They're the eyes and ears for each one of those subcategories of our membership. Does anybody have any questions about membership? It's a really fun committee to be on. All these committees, it's a fun council to be on. It's a great group of women. But I know if you're interested in leadership, there's a wonderful spot for you, you know, somewhere here. But again, always available, email anytime.
All right. Well, then we will move along. We'll zoom right past fund development again, and we will go into training. And we've got Christina here to talk to us about the training positions.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christina Harris. I'm the training elect this year. So you can reach out to me, trainingelect@jlboston.org, with any questions. Always happy to discuss training and these 3 roles. So we have 3 appointed positions here. We have the board seat initiative lead, the mentorship lead, and the advocacy lead. So let's start off with board seat initiative. So the board seat initiative has 3 different components. You have your board seat trainings. We have matching, which is coordinating our members with board seat opportunities, and the board seat certification program. So we launched our first board seat certification program this year with Cause Strategy Partners to train the attendees in what it takes to be an outstanding board member. They looked at board leadership, governance, fundraising, DE&I. They had a blast, and it was really, really great. So we're hoping to build on that program and still host that component next year. So there's a lot of excitement building around that. It's a really, really great role if you're interested in leadership development and training and development, I would say that this is really exciting because it also allows us to then match these people in our community to some really great organizations. So that's Board Seat Initiative. We also have the Advocacy Lead. So advocacy performs outreach, empowers our members to advocate, educate, and develop member awareness of critical social issues in Boston. So the Advocacy Lead will coordinate all those efforts and liaise with league leadership to identify applicable topics and create training curricula surrounding those topics. This year, we've done a little bit with the Advocacy Lead and hosting our Salon Series and our Solution Summit. So those are two of our signature training events. And we would love to have, more involvement in advocacy as we build out our training plan for next year. And finally, and probably one of my personal favorites, is mentorship. Mentorship is intended to create these mutually rewarding one-on-one partners between mentees and mentors in the Junior League. And it could be a difference in experience, in tenure in the league, whatever that difference is. It's a really, really phenomenal program. And we're looking to continue that momentum and build up another year of a successful mentorship program. So all of these teams would have about 5 to 10 individuals working with you to help create something really spectacular next year. And there's a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement, and we would love to answer any questions either now on Zoom, or if you have any questions, again, you can email me. My name is Christina at trainingelect@jlboston.org, and I'm happy to answer anything that comes my way.
All right. Thank you so much, Christina. I really appreciate it. And thank you again to everyone for taking the time to explain the various roles and what they entail. So what to expect. And I went over this a little bit earlier. The first step really is I would review the appointed leadership catalog. And like I said, we're putting kind of the finishing touches on that to make sure that everything is most up to date and correct and everything. So if you're interested, and it will be posted online, but it's a little bit hard to find. So if you'd like, just please send either Sarah or myself placement@jlboston.org or placementelect@jlboston.org, and we will be happy to send that out to you just as soon as it's available. And then the next step would be to submit that online application. It estimates it'll take, probably 10 or 15 minutes to do it, but that's kind of up to you. There's a few, like I said, you would, fill in the roles that you are most interested in, the ones you'd be willing to accept. And then it asks you a few questions about why you think you'd be particularly good for the role, or what skills or experience you have that you would bring to the role and what you're hoping to get out of them. And the next stage would be interviews with EMT elected, the board members, and somebody would reach out, schedule an interview, have some chats, and then people will reach out when they would make their selections. I would encourage everybody to apply if they are interested at all. Nobody is left to fend for themselves. Nobody's thrown to the wolves. There's always somebody who knows something about the role around. There's always somebody there to lend a hand or offer assistance, give you, some sort of support where you need it. Shannon and Katie are awesome resources, and they see all and know all about what goes on. So I would never let a feeling of imposter syndrome or something like that prevent you from making the leap and going for it. I think the league is often one of those things where people get very busy, and it's, you're anxious and a little bit nervous about giving more and doing more. But I also find that no matter what it is, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. And I always feel that even if I come into something where I'm a little bit tired or a little bit worn out, by the time I leave, I feel like I've done something good and I've made connections, and I am always so inspired, and I feel really lucky to know the incredible women that are part of the league. And I think that there's something we can kind of learn from all of them. I see there's something in the chat, so I'm going to check that real quick just to make sure I didn't miss an important question. Okay, good. That's good. So anyway, the next thing is the timeline. And like I kind of mentioned earlier, on April 1st at midnight, I've already scheduled it. The application will be open. So if you're up at like 12:02 and you want to get right in there, you could do so. And then on midnight of the 17th, the application will close. And on the morning of the 18th, Sarah and I will go in. We will send to EMT Elect all of the candidates and let them know who was interested in each of the roles. And then hopefully, you know, through the end of May, people will be interviewed, the applications will be reviewed, and decisions will be made. And then over the summer, and we don't know when yet, we'll be able to have some training and help people, you know, really be set up for success for next year. And we, fingers crossed, we'll have things get back to a more normal situation. It's been, you know, a little bit weird for the past couple of years. So that is our presentation, and we are happy to stick around and answer any questions that people might have. Thank you. You can
Thank
type
you,
it too.
Amanda,
Thank you.
for hosting this. This was such a informative, like, even though I've been in the league for so many years and have held a leadership position in the league, this was a really neat and well developed and thoughtful presentation. So thank you for hosting it.
Most of the credit actually goes to Sarah for putting the presentation together. She put in tons and tons of hard work, and honestly, I couldn't have, like most things in the league, nobody's an island, and I could not have done it. And she's actually one of the most wonderful parts about being in this role this year, is that we got to meet and be together. So, you know, sometimes it's hard work, but you make good friends, and, you know, you make good connections and you learn new things. And I find it's very rewarding. And, you know, you get to work with awesome people like you too, Emily. Oh, let me see, is there jump? Okay. All right, well then I guess that is it for today. Please feel free to reach out to anybody with any questions. And, you know, the applications will be open for a little over 2 weeks. So even if you don't, you know, work up the courage to sign up right away, you know, there'll be some time, but we would love to have you be interested. So thank you very much.
Thank you.